Um, Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, isn't that?
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrison?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
Alan Real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. Excuse me. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the anomic age, and I am your sick host, John H. Thank you so much for being with us today. Please check out anomicage.com. Let me go on a different track. Oh, have mercy. Check out anomicage.com, folks. If you can do no more, please like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, paypal.me/anomicage, patreon.com /anomicage as well. Those are the best ways that you can help me out, support the show, and ever so much more. Anomicage.com. One way or the other, we're going to put this blame site on the screen. I can tell you that. So, you know what? Let's take it down. Okay. As I said before, I knew, I knew in my heart that we could get the actual website that I'm trying to plug here on the screen. So anomicage.com is the site that you should go to if you're interested in anything me, like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions, every social media link that I happen to be a part of is right there at anomicage.com. So now that we've gotten that out of the way and that we've urinated away 30 seconds of the show, then we can just jump right into this. So I'm your host, John H. Ever so happy to be back with you once again in the almost wee hours of the AM. I'm going to assuredly take you into those wee hours of the AM in just a mere matter of moments. Started a little bit late this evening. Full disclosure, I wasn't even sure if I was going to start at all tonight. The technical difficulties abound, just like a cornucopia of turds. I've been sicker than Ilhan Omar without the hood, I tell you. You know, I've been sick for like 72 hours here. I've been sick, I tell you. I've been so sick. I've been sicker than Rosie O'Donnell in a swimsuit competition. You know what I mean? Anyway, all jokes aside, I have very little voice left. I've been running a fever and still am for about the last 3.5 days. It's just it's an awesome event. So I've got my trusty water. I've got enough voice to get me through, we'll see. And we're going to cover the waterfront of things, issues, drips, drabs, and other things that go bump in the night, at least for the next hour, here at the anomicage.com. So, the graphic that I wanted to show you that I worked on just before the show is this one. It's Jones versus Shroyer. Ah, yes. I've got the proverbial Austin Federal Building down there at the bottom. I've got the lightning strike. Anybody who's a fan of old school hardcore like myself probably is familiar with the Bad Brains and their very seminal lightning strike a la DC from their Banned in DC record. So I was trying to recreate that just a little bit and also just trying to have some fun with this whole thing because after all, at the end of the day, to paraphrase the Golden Girls, you got to make your own fun around here. So I'm trying to make my own fun around here, folks. I really am. Whew. So that is what the meaning behind this whole thing is. It's got Alex Jones as Godzilla, and it's got Owen the Cuck Destroyer. I guess he's soaking in the rays from Godzilla and about to unfurl his own power. I don't know. I'm just sort of riffing on those things. Just the wee littlest of bits, don't you know? So, big surprise. We're going to cover that this evening. And that's going to be the primary thing we cover. If I have any voice left by the end of it, we will get into some obligatory weapons of mass distraction news. We'll definitely do that. But I plan to stay in between the lines here and just focus on the obvious because, after all, there's no good news like this news, I guess. I don't know. I'm convinced. I mean, pun intended. You know, insert pun here. This trumps all the news of Trump today. This trumps all the news of tranny shooters from 3 days ago. That's just dust in the wind, don't you know? It's all just dust in the wind, like the old Kansas song. Nobody cares about stinking trannies or dead kids anymore. It's all new. And please don't take me as literal on that, because somebody's going to say you're disparaging dead children. That's not my point. It's satirical, you dope. If you don't get my satire, please tune in to another show that is slower paced for you. So, there's that. Dust in the wind, everything is. The obvious stuff that came out today is Trump's alive for the last, I guess, 48 hours. Trump's alive. The big news scandal for 48 hours now is Trump's dead. He's really been whisked away. It's a clone Trump. The blurry pictures are some guy in a mask. It's not even him. His eyes bigger on one side. He's got some gash on his face. He's got swollen ankles and swollen wrists, and he's had a stroke or 3 or 4 or who many knows? You know, it's just all conjecture at this point. So that's been the going debacle. But alas, yesterday, I can't even remember what time it's occurred Eastern. I don't know. Like 5:30, I don't know. I was conscious and awake for this. I've been in and out of consciousness watching 72 hours plus of In the Heat of the Night channel, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Humans of all ages, those of you who still identify as human. Yeah, I've been repping the Heat of the Night channel for the last 3 days while I drift in and out of consciousness. And having a lovely fever to boot, which I still have right now, but I digress. We won't belabor the points. We'll just try to get through it all, huh? So, yeah, came out, I guess, about 5:30. Could have been a little earlier. Eastern Standard Time, that Owen was on a live stream, and he sat there for like 4 some change hours. I watched most all of it, I believe. And then today, we saw the volley of the pong ball back, I guess, from Alex Jones. So I guess we will sift through the minutia of this, and I will link this back into how it really just reflects our very myopic, binary opposition, duopoly system that the American people buys into. It's really no different. I mean, this occurred to me, I don't know, about 5 hours ago when I was kind of trying to figure out if I was going to do a show or not tonight. And full disclosure, the Thursday show at 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's still going to happen. Depending on my sickness or lack thereof, it might be a repeat of an old show from a few years ago. But nevertheless, I'll be here, you'll be here, so we'll have a gay all time, as they say on the Flintstones. But here we go. Let's jump into the pool, folks. Between you, me, and the NSA here, I kind of surmised that something was a little fishy in the InfoWars world, I guess, last week. I don't even know. I don't watch it all the time anymore. I don't think I ever watched it all the time. But anyway, I watch it less and less and fewer and further between, and perhaps even less now. But I knew something was kind of awry. I sensed a disturbance in the force with old Owen Shroyer, because he just seemed to be a little bit off. So that was kind of my take on it. I believe I did see the incident that everybody was talking about, that Owen and so on were talking about, where he walked off the set and Alex said something about a family emergency. I vaguely remember that, but not really, because I was too busy just doing like 10 other things at once, as usual. Full disclosure, the show's usually, if it is on, it's kind of on as a backdrop. It's not something that I sit there and like distill down and write notes about or anything like that. But 110% better than Fox News or most any other stuff out there. So that being said, kind of knew something was up. And I noticed he wasn't at the helm of the war room. Full disclosure, again, I had gotten to the point where I really just liked the war room better, because at least it covered the topics. It wasn't like an hour-long infomercial with poignant clips of news interrupting the infomercials. It wasn't people selling you products that were supposedly experts and like selling gold and selling, all this, that, and the other. So for me, I personally was kind of like, I didn't watch infomercials in the late 90s, when the cable was about to go off or whatever at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whatever it was. And they would show the infomercial. I didn't watch the crap then, I mean, even the Girls Gone Wild and all that stuff and Madame Cleo, I wasn't into that. It was just kind of like, all right, well, this stinks. I'm going to cut on Art Bell and go to sleep. That was kind of my take on that stuff back then. So, not my cup of tea. Moving on. So, yeah, man. Things to take away from this, good, bad, and otherwise. There's the camp of Alex's shill and Owen's shill. There's the shills abound camp, and as the great John B. Wells has often said, every piece of bread's got 3 sides. It's got the one side of the story and the other side of the story, and then somewhere in the middle where this whole thing probably shakes out. So, What to really take away from this? Things that I would be critical of Owen on this whole thing. As I often say, timing is everything. Comedic timing is everything. Timing, hitting a fastball is everything. Timing, quarterback throwing that spiral is everything. Any way you look at life, it's timing. It really is, folks. It's a split second between this is the woman I'm about to meet and marry, and man, this random pizza guy stepped in front of me and I'd missed that opportunity. That sort of weird thing. Timing is everything. So the sort of negative I'd throw on this saying as far as Owen goes is definitely the timing. I mean, obviously, if we are to believe what has been put out there, which I guess, I don't have any reason to question it. Alex Jones's father just went through some very major surgery. I can only imagine that old AJ, whatever you think of him, the dude's going through a lot with his father. All right, I think we can all see that one way or the other. So I would say timing, pretty shoddy timing on that one. Oh, and I gotta say, man, I don't know. Other stuff. A lot of this, people are going to say, this is just old adages, John. Why are you just giving us old wives' tales and adages? Because they're true, folks. Just like stereotypes come from some sort of truth, adages come from some sort of truth. So I'll say this also, and this probably goes to both parties. Communication is key, gentlemen. Communication is key. Seems like a real communication breakdown. Some definite communication breakdown there. A little Led Zeppelin for you, man. I don't know. Seemed like some communication breakdown where they couldn't have got together on some front and just said, okay, I'm going to go my separate way. You're going to go your separate way. It's been real. We'll see each other down the road, Especially with this much time invested from both people. I don't see why that couldn't have occurred. And I feel if things are to believed, Owen's got there saying, Alex told him not to come in, blah, blah, blah. All right, I feel you. That sort of stinks. But at the same time, then it was like, all right, well, I'll show you, I'll show you. I'll go on my live stream and air the laundry. All right. That seems a little shoddy. And somebody's going, well, he didn't really air the laundry. I'm like, well, he didn't exactly say no comment either. You know what I'm saying? I guess he didn't pull receipts out. But it certainly did not leave a lot to the imagination. So I'd say that on both sides as well. Another thing on this whole thing is kind of like the old Sun Tzu art of war thing. You should appear strong when you are weak and weak when you are strong. And actions like this do not convey those sentiments for either party, I mean, I guess somebody could say, oh, it makes Owen look strong because he's leaving InfoWars. I guess. But at the same time, someone could throw out there, well, he's also leaving a very proven, huge market in and of itself. So I got to kind of say, you did not follow the Sun Tzu art of war. It's right back behind me somewhere. There's old Sonny. Sun Tzu's over here in the corner. You did not appear strong when weak and weak when strong. This whole thing just made everybody look weak, which is sad, man. It's very sad. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's a winner in this game or if everybody's just a loser. I got to say, man. Lot of, So, in my opinion, this makes everybody look like a clown, makes everybody look weak. Yeah, Owen looked better as far as his decorum. He at least came out there professional. And although he was putting a lot of laundry on the line, maybe there was a big sheet behind the laundry, there was a silhouette, maybe, I don't know. But although Owen did put a lot of laundry out on the line, he at least did it with a whole lot of decorum. I'm not even going to play any of the AJ guffaws today. I mean, just, oh, man. It was sad to watch. It was sad and just, it was sad for everybody involved, I think that's the thing I looked at a whole lot of social media today, and that's kind of my takeaway. Nobody was like, yay. It was kind of like, man, this is just lame. This is just sad. But at the end of the day, I believe indeed it was just sad. Alex looked like a scorned, I don't know, I'll clean it up for you. A scorned lover, if you will. Looked like some scorned lover high school kind of drama, you know, like some Jerry Springer show action where they just screaming and freaking out, cursing, and just, I don't know, man. For me personally, that's not how you should handle those sort of situations. That's why, for me, I like to let things marinate. I like to let things simmer, if you will. Steep, to throw in a tea analogy. I like to let things steep for a good day before I really discuss something with somebody, or for sure before I would get on the airwaves and throw this anchor in the water. I don't know what you want to call it, man. It just looked bad. Looked bad for everybody not following Sun Tzu, Art of War at all, man. Just looked weak. So that was my big takeaway from this, for sure. And you can look at this a lot of different ways. You know, there's the AJ is not real. He's been replaced. His controlled opposition. His dad's not even real. And I guess I don't even care. That's how I feel with a certain level of the BS. It's really just like, I don't really care. It's just, it means nothing to me. It really, it's just a news cycle change is really all that it insinuates, means, or anything else. So I kind of look at the extreme level of the conspiracy in the same way I do some of this other mess. It's like, okay, well, what difference does it have on my bottom line? Zero. Absolutely zero. So I wanted to tackle this in a little bit of another lens as well, because I didn't really see anybody looking at it this way. But to me, well, I'll tackle the dollars and cents angle, and in doing so, we'll sort of summarize just a little bit on this angle, because that was another bone of contention, if you will. The bone of contention was the money, as it always is, folks. A lot of people like to fake the funk and say it ain't all about the money, and you don't have to have money to be happy, and blah, 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 blah. Folks, if you're of that ilk, God bless you. I 100% mean that. But for me, personally, I have no desire to live in a box. I have no desire to live without air conditioning, running water, electricity, and the obvious things that the Western society has provided me. So, considering I don't want to be without those things, it kind of is all about the money, folks. It absolutely is. No matter how you cut it. I hate to break it to you, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, but that's real. Unless you want to go live in a hollowed out tree and beg for change on the corner, at some point, it's all about the bling, folks. It really, really is. So here's what I found laughable. Owen's like, oh, I didn't get a raise since 2018. Okay. Believable, I guess. I don't know. Again, this is a big who to bleep cares and who to bleep knows. And then AJ retorts today with his Godzilla reference, which is classic comedy, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan of comedy, and I've been finding cursing funny since I was a kid. I would rewind the parts in movies, and it's hilarious, folks. So on a certain sick level, I find all this completely amusing. But then on the other spectrum, just completely sad. But, retorts today that he's gotten an $80,000 raise and all these bonuses, and he gave Owen a Hellcat and all this mess. And if this is your world, folks, again, God bless you. I am so pleased as punch and grateful that is your world. But call me crazy. Maybe I'm not speaking to my audience. Maybe my audience is far better off than me, affluent, wealthy even. Maybe so, man. But this is the cognitive dissonance that I have found with InfoWars over the years. Of many. But, I mean, this is one of the stellar ones. it's like, okay. Again, I was kind of waiting for the receipts. I was like, and you're talking about the receipts. Show us the blame receipts, man. Let's see the freaking receipt stubs. You can blur out the account numbers. We can see the numbers, right? Let's see them. Dígame. But anyway, the big cognitive disconnect for me for many years now has just been the complete, I cannot grasp that as my reality. So, again, maybe it's just me that's Poe, but I'm sorry, folks. I have not gotten an $80,000 raise at any point in time in my entire life. And I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that. No one's ever given me a Hellcat at any point in my entire existence. No one's given me a car, let alone a allegedly like $60,000+ Hellcat, you know, like. Yeah, so that just struck me as like, who in the audience, please fill me in, audience members. Are you rocking it like that? Please tell me if you are. I'm again, very, very thankful if you are. I'm thinking most of the audience is kind of like myself and just paycheck to paychecking it, folks. My goodness. Once I move up a tax bracket, I won't tell people there will be signs. Be a lot better lighting. The sound will be better. There'll be a producer in-house. It'll be amazing. But, I mean, that's been one of my gripes over the years. It's like this continual, like, I just got back from Hawaii. I just got back from Mexico. I just got back from wherever else. Meanwhile, back in the real world, it's that old Gerald Celente thing. You know, when you look at the economy, don't look at Wall Street, look at Main Street, okay? And if Main Street's looking like doo-doo, then, you know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be real with your audience if you are indeed that affluent, but I am saying it's just kind of in bad taste. You know what I'm saying? It's just in bad taste. Like, if I'm living in a multi-million-dollar mansion and my good buddy's living in a trailer, I'm probably not going to talk about my mansion to my pal. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm not saying you should be fake. I'm just saying it's kind of a bad taste, man. It's just not a good look. So if we're to believe all this rigmarole, jibber-jabber, and all this other nonsense, you know, we've got the Pong going back across and the retort of he's gotten an $80,000 raise and all these bonuses and a Hellcat and all this, that, and the other. I guess, man, I don't know. The suits too. I gotta say the suits too. And please don't trip on me like I'm doing the wealth envy thing. I'm not. I'm like, beautiful suit. Always. Alex and Owen and primarily those two gentlemen. But, you know, those two cats always repping some very nice suits. You know, very, I won't say Steve Harvey-esque. It's obviously a different look and everything. It doesn't look like it look like Dorothy from the Golden Girls, but like the 2-foot tails, you know, going down to your knee or something. But anyway, beautiful, lovely suits. I couldn't fathom affording them. It's just, again, you know, I've always been a person that wants to be 100% legit, but I'm also going to be, you know, have decorum and speak to my audience in a way that does not make them feel like doo-doo. Holy shnikes. So there's that, man. I don't know. Anyway, moving on, because somebody's going, man, why are you still talking about this? Is all fake. They're not even real people. Like, they don't even live in Austin. They live in Portugal, you know, whatever. For the, you know, it's like the true believers thing. For the true skeptic, no proof is enough. For the true believer, no proof is necessary. And it's kind of the same realm, dare I say, in the conspiratorial world. You know, there's the base level, there's the, I'd say, like, normal conspiratorial, talk about an oxymoron, and then there's, like, the far end of the pool where we're not even real, this isn't reality, it's all a simulation, we're going to wake up in a slime coffin hooked to a battery, and our essence is powering the universe, man, and I don't know, man. I hope so. At this point, please, Let that be the case. As I've said many times on this show, please, let the nukes fly. Can I see China, Russia, Ukraine, Mexico, like the whole thing? Just nuke away. Oh my gracious goodness. What's that old song? Wake Up Dead? I can't remember who does Wake Up Dead. It's not who I think it is, I guarantee. Somebody in the comments, tell me who did the song Wake Up Dead. I can't recall. Anyway, that's not what you came here for. You didn't come for music talk, although you should have. So the real connection to this whole thing is it struck me today as I continued to look at the comments for and against, and everybody seems to be primarily for Mr. Shroyer. I guess. Awesome, man. I don't know. Sure. I don't care. I really just don't give a rat's. But most of the comments seem to be in that direction. But as I was sort of just scrolling through the proverbial social media, or we could just say the mainstream media, because this thing took off, folks. Here we go. Mainstream media. You want to see that one? Woo, Lord. It's just everywhere. Owen, you don't put Alex in there? Let's see what we got. Good night, nice. It's just a plethora. Good grief, folks. It's all the time, everywhere you go. It's more the same old shenanigans. Anyway, as I was perusing the social media landscape, one thing kept resonating with me. I thought to myself, ironically enough, this is going on in the highly alleged alternative media, because I would contend that this is nothing more than a grand old weapon of mass distraction, as most of life is, really. But back to the point here. This is really just a very obvious parallel between how the American people, and I'm only talking Americans here, this is where I live. I quite frankly don't give a rat's about the rest of the world, but so how Americans digest their reality. And I've touched on this so many times before. The long-time listeners are tired of hearing this mess. I'm sorry. But it definitely does touch into the wide world of anthropology. Once again, in the French structuralist Claude Lévi-Strauss, he's dead now. But his big claim to fame was French structuralism, looking at the structural components of society. He was also really into looking at this notion of binary opposition. His big book, I believe, was The Raw and the Cooked. Again, I'm blanking on names. That was one of his many big books, The Raw and the Cooked. Somebody fact check me out there in the chat if you want to. I don't give a rat's either, but The Raw and the Cooked, I believe, was it. Claude Lévi-Strauss talking about this notion of binary opposition, and that he sort of viewed it as a cultural universal that it's everywhere, that cultures do indeed view their reality through this sort of very black and white binary opposition, ones and zeros, black hats and white hats, dark side of the force and the light, the cowboys, the Indians, the cops, the robbers. You get the idea, right? They do indeedly do view their world in this sort of psychological construct of binary opposition. His big shtick was looking at myths and legends cross-culturally and looking at commonalities between these various cultural components of cultures which had no contact to each other, virtually no similarities quite often. But their legends, their stories, their myths always sort of had that same binary opposition component. There would be very Hegelian dialectic. It would be the synthesis, antithesis, and oh my goodness, I'm too sick to be doing this show. Thesis, synthesis, antithesis. Thank you. Good grief, brain. So just as the Hegelian dialectic does sort of focus on the ebb and flow there, old Claude was saying that in much the same way, different cultures would view life and have very similar stories, or at least having the same protagonist, antagonist, sort of like hero trajectory and fighting foes and come to a synthesis at the end. And, you know, you can look at this through a myriad of examples. You could look at The Wizard of Oz. Holy shnikes. Whew. That was, all right. Now, something just fell in the studio and it was completely jarring. My mistakes. Whew. All right. Thought, never mind. Back to the topic at hand, the binary opposition. Yeah. Whew. Man. He was saying that same sort of thing is happening cross-culturally. And I used to think it was kind of hogwash, but I swear to you, man, the more I look at our society, the more I got to say, well, Claude may have had something yet again. Because the whole while I was looking at this malarkey festival play out, cleaned it up for you again, folks, keeping those curse words out of here. The more it really became obvious that, yeah, people are just viewing this as cowboys and Indians, black hats and white hats, and the force and the good and the light and all that mess. That's really it, folks, because you immediately had people taking sides. And I swear to you, I don't give a rat's patoot what side of this BS you're on. I don't care if you're in the far conspiratorial, we are all actually in a mucus tank with plugs in our necks, and this isn't even real, you know, whatever. I think that we can all easily agree on the divide and conquer method is the method that has worked for millennium. It is the method that is going to keep being resurrected. I mean, like it's coming more than the ghost of Christmas past, folks. The divide and conquer thing is always going to be the staple playbook of the whoever you want to say is controlling it. It's the Jews, it's the reptilians, it's the globalists. You want to be all Alexy about it? It's the globalists. Whatever, man. I don't even give a rat's patoot what you believe to be the overlords of this shtick. But the divide and conquer is the way to walk. That's it, folks. We've seen this carried out Greeks, Romans, Mayans, Aztecs. You want to go all Asiatic, it's happened there too. And that's really the name of the game, folks. It is divide and conquer. That's just it. And the way that people actually gain power over a dominant force is to make allies, make alliances, and use those alliances to overthrow the dominant power, folks. If you look at, I'll give you a little microcosm here. I'm not sharp because I'm sicker than, you know how sick I am. Sicker than a Big Mike in a strapless dress. Anyway, I believe it's Malinche is the female slave that was taken by Hernan Cortez. And he basically used her because she was a translator and she was able to gain allies with the other kingdoms that were being just sacked by the Aztecs. So it wasn't so much that Hernan Cortez showed up, he said, "Quame los barcos, burn the boats, and take a note," you know, that sort of thing. He did all that. He did say, "Quame los barcos, burn the boats." He said, basically, we're going to get rich or die trying here in the New World. He came, he met Malinche, he took her in, used her skill set to gain the allies and take over the Aztec Empire, okay? Yes, in no small part due to the horses, the steel weapons, the projectile weapons, and the like, all right? Granted, it wasn't just that. But, you know, the Aztecs had their weapons too, folks. Have mercy. Please look at the macahuitl. Those of you in the comment area, look up the macahuitl, a beautiful weapon from the Aztecs. But anyway, so that is kind of the key. It's the inversion of divide and conquer. So whoever you foresee your overlords as being, the divide and conquer methodology is it. That's why you had house slaves and field slaves. That's why it's always the same old song, folks. The French and Indian Wars, folks. It was Native Americans warring against the French. and the allies were getting the Native Americans in on. You know what I'm saying? So yes, divide and conquer. The inversion of that is gaining allies. So this whole exercise in the last 24 hours, I guess, maybe almost 42, whatever it is now, has been nothing more than a urinating in the wind contest that has served the purpose of dividing the, I guess it would be, what do you want to say it is, folks? Would be patriot community, would be alternative information community, would be truthers, 70s, whatever you want to paint your little selves in the corner of. I don't care. I'm not painting myself in any corner, so I'll just remain whatever. But this whole urinating in the wind exercise has served one major purpose: to divide and conquer. So all over social media, I'm taking like the longest way around to the airport here. All over social media, you've seen people taking sides. You've seen people saying, I'm with Shroyer, I'm with Alex. How dare you do this to Alex, and how dare you do this to Owen? It's just a freaking drama parade, folks. It reminds me of days of our lives. Like sands through the hourglass, so goes the days of our lives. I mean, are we so just brain dead as a society now that we are bringing back soap operas? We're bringing them back in the alternative media world. Good grief. General Hospital this week, Asa, it's just completely dumb. So, again, I go back to decorum. All this should have been handled in-house. Every blipping bit of it, folks. All of it should have been handled in-house. So, here's the shtick. If you're a prospective employer, do you want to hire Owen now? Maybe, but also, do you want to end up on a live stream? I don't. Also, prospective employees, do you want to work for AJ right now? Hell to the no. This whole episode today made him look like the craziest person to work for. I mean, come on, man. Got to be tactful, man. You got to have that decorum. This divided everyone. That's all this did. I mean, I don't know how you could get much more divided than I guess our current geopolitical landscape is, because you've got, I would say, the awake people, the truth, patriotic, 1776, real ones. And then you've got like the blue blood Republicans, which is just really a guise for neocons. Then you've got, I guess you could say, and I hate to say this because I've seen so much flack and stones thrown at boomers lately. It's just kind of like, all right, enough. You've played your victim card to the tilt. We blamed everything on the boomers. All right, go cry in a corner and come back in a minute. But there's like the boomer variety who are just full Trump cult. Like that guy could get up on the stage and, I don't know. I'm going to keep it clean. That guy could get up on the stage in a banana hammock and flip the whole Trump audience the bird, and they'd still be like, it's all Trump, man. He's a great guy. It's 5G chess, and he's a man, and so there's that whole demographic. And then I don't know. There's perhaps the demographic I'm in, which is a black pill overdose. I've seen too much. I've known too much about this stuff, and it's just ain't nothing changing, folks. Ain't nothing changing but the date. That's all. All we have to look forward to is the date changes. Things might get a little worse. Things might get a little better. I don't think so. I don't think anything drastically is going to change. Your salary is going to go down or stay the same. The inflation's going to continue. And all the while, I mean, now what would be construed as mainstream media is just urinating in your face, telling you the economy is fine, and telling you that everything is changed when in reality it hasn't. I mean, that's kind of the world we live in now. It's the straight just rubbing your nose in the brown stuff, urinating in your face. That's where we are now. And the true believers don't seem to grasp that. The black pill overdose people are where I'm at, and they think like it's all turds, bleep it all. like rain the nukes. Let's start over. And then, of course, I mean, you've got the left. I don't even want to get into that. We all know the derangement that is that side of the coin. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, folks. So, this just divided people. It should have been, I don't know if this per se should have been, but in general, both of these individuals, if they are in any way legitimate at all, they should have been like, hey, this is a bad look for both of us. We're both going to look like a big horse's patoot here. Why don't we just, even if like old Owen said, he just told him not to come in anymore. Okay, fine. Well, at some point, AJ's got to address this, right? So I'd say, yo, give it another week, let it cool off, try to reconcile in the sense that you both just say, see you later, Charlie, I guess. I don't know. Lord knows I don't know what the bleep. Nobody's giving me a Hellcat. I ain't got an $80,000 raise. Holy shnikes, folks. So that indeed is my my humble take on this whole charade. All right, we got time for a little bit more. Let's see how much time we actually got on this whole game clock. Got a little bit. All right, let's go into some obvious weapons of mass distraction news, shall we? Oh my gracious. What the frick is this thing? Yes, this individual, Dmitry Daskalaski. Dmitry, he's no longer going to be, I guess, at the CDC giving your kids shot advice. So, there's that. Good grief. It's, the whole world has become such a bizarro world, just joke. That's why I always say on this show, my show became more satirical because society became more satirical. I mean, how do you do a straight up, like, we're going to cover the news today, Dmitry stepped down as CDC, you know, and then you show this boob. Or do you want to see the other pictures where he's like making out with a dude? Or what's the other one? I had another one pulled up. I couldn't stomach all of it. I really couldn't. I had another one pulled up where there was like a white background. I'll see if I still got it. There we go. This is a really hot, oh yeah, super hot. Super hot one here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Woo, boys. Let me get some water. This is too much to bear. This is so retarded. It's so stupid, folks. Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive. Yeah, this is the dude that stepped down. And I believe a couple of days ago, there was a big, in CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, there was a big protest. Get this, you'll love this, folks, in case you missed it. There was a big protest, and basically all these CDC people walked out. I mean, that's a win 8 days a week and twice on Sunday, folks. That's like when the government shuts down. What? Get the bleep out of here. Next thing you know, the IRS will go on strike. I mean, get the bleep out of here. Yeah, they went on strike, I tell you. Whoo, boy, that was a rough day for the rest of the world. The CDC boobs in Atlanta, Georgia, decided to walk out. Holy shnikes. Next thing you know, taxi drivers will be walking out. Whatever will we do without taxi drivers, I tell you? Not like we don't have like 5 other forms of transit now that taxis are defunct. I mean, come on, folks. Just... There he is, folks. There he is with his pentagram. I don't know what the freak that is. Some kind of half-hearted gimp suit under his pinstriped attire. And he's got his biker hat on. Ooh, boy. I know, it's a lot to it's a lot to take in, boys. Soak it in. Just deal with it. That's better than this one, I guess. I mean, this one is like all kinds of gross. All right. Let's see if we can play this one with the sound. I believe that we can. Let's hope and pray that we can. Lord Jesus, please give us strength in this time of need. I think that we can. Let's see if we can. Heavenly Father,
policy. So I wonder if you could just say whether or not the president believes that the COVID vaccine should be available to and covered by insurance for all Americans, regardless of age and pre-existing conditions.
What I will tell you is that the FDA recently revoked the emergency use authorizations for 3 COVID vaccinations while simultaneously greenlighting 4 new COVID-19 vaccines with 2025 and 2026.
Hold up. Did anybody catch that glitch in the Matrix, folks? We got to rewind this. This is comedy at its finest. This reminds me of the old Paula Abdul joint. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, we come together when opposites attract. But not really, because let's rewind. This is too good.
Miscommunications or differences on vaccine policy. So I wonder if you could just say whether or not the president believes that the COVID vaccine should be available to and covered by insurance for all Americans, regardless of age and pre-existing conditions.
What I will tell you is that the FDA recently revoked the emergency use authorizations for 3 COVID vaccines.
Okay, so the FDA revoked the emergency authorization por 3 inyecciones. 3 inyecciones, gentes. 3. Pero hay más.
Vaccinations while simultaneously greenlighting 4 new COVID-19 vaccines.
What? Did everybody just fall out of their chair on that one? So the FDA took out 3, but greenlit 4. Woo, baby. You gotta love it. But don't worry, they go on to say,
with 2025 and
They go on to say.
2026 formulas. The reason for the revocation of that emergency use authorization is because obviously the COVID pandemic and the public health emergency is over. But just to correct the record, because there's been a lot of misinformation on this, the FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them. We believe in individual choice. That's a promise both the president and the secretary have made, and it's a promise they have now delivered on.
Question, if I could,
okie dokie. So, they throw the caveat out there at the very end. Yo, we took down 3 vaccines, but we gave you 4. But don't worry, we're not going to force it on you. I mean, good night, nurse folks. Did they not understand that the intellect of the vast majority of the American populace is clearly at the flowers for Algernon level? I ain't trying to be a jerk here. I'm really not. Get this mess out of here. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But on the real, they do understand this, right? They understand that the vast majority of the American populace is unquestionably at the flowers for Algernon level. If anybody doesn't get my reference, check it out. You can see the Flowers for Algernon book, and you can see a great movie, Flowers for Algernon. It's sad. But legit, that is the American people. The American people is flowers for Algernon. We know this because the American people played the game during PSYOP 19. They got in little lines. They stood 6 feet apart. They walked in special directions in the grocery, just like in Flowers for Algernon, where the guy is teaching this rat, I believe, to go through this maze. Like, they get that, right? So it's kind of irrelevant whether or not it's your choice to do this or not. Of course it's your choice. You should have free will in an actual republic. That should be the case. But unfortunately, the American populace is at such an intellectual deficit. It's almost like you can't trust these people to make their own choices. Happens to Murgatroyd. We trusted people to make their own choices, and they followed orders. They followed all of the psychological precedents that were already set forward, folks. They followed the Stanford prison experiments to a T. They started teaming up guards versus inmates, inmates versus guards. They started self-policing. That was the essence. That was the essence of, oh man, I'm too sick to do this show, folks. My brain is not here. That was the essence of Brave New World. That was the essence of Brave New World. He said that in like 63 in his final speech presentation of the thing. He said the premise of this is to get people to basically police each other. I'm paraphrasing heavily because my brain is feverish right now. But the author of Brave New World said that. His goal was to get people to self-police, to turn each other in. You saw that during the COVID hoax, folks. It was a mirror of the Stanford prison experiments. It was the mirror of the Philip Zimbardo experiments. I mean, this is all like Psych 101. When you take first-year psychology stuff, you learn about these blipping experiments that were just heinous, where people are shocking each other, and they're not really getting shocked, but people are just turning it all the way up to lethal, sure. Because they're just following orders. They're just following orders, just like the Flowers for Algernon folks that just followed the little lines and kept their masks on in the car and kept their masks on in the store. They know the intellect of the American people is far below subpar, okay? So it's kind of like, great. You're not forcing them to do it, but I don't. It wouldn't take much convincing for me if they went on a live broadcast right now and said we're giving away cyanide and arsenic cocktail vaccines free to everybody at CVS for the next 90 days. I guarantee you there would be, lines around a block of people running to get their cyanide and arsenic cocktail vaccine shot. I guarantee it. How much time we got? We got time for a little bit more. I was going to save this. I don't know. I might just save this. I've gone a little off what I wanted to talk about this evening. So I think I'm going to save this. I got two other videos. I'm just going to save that for a little segment I'm going to start calling We Just Don't Hate Them Enough. This will be a teaser segment for that, okay? So coming up in the next show, I'm going to have a new segment called We Just Don't Hate Them Enough. And we're going to show you some, again, this isn't conspiratorial. This is just regular old coverage of why the vast majority of the American people just don't hate their captors enough. So it's just so frustrating, folks. The stuff that everybody knows should make you just vehemently hate your government. But instead, we're doing the Owen Shroyer, Alex Jones thing. We're going back and forth on I'm voting for blue, I'm voting for red, I like the Cowboys, I like the Steelers, whatever the blipping case may be, man. It's so hysterical, really. So the Alex Jones, Owen Shroyer, I can't wait for the shirts. I'm sure there's shirts already out there like Team Alex and Team Owen, and good grief, man. It's such a blipping distraction, but then isn't it all? Indeed, folks, indeed. So, we'll come back if I'm less sick than I am today, brother. We'll do a little segment called We Just Don't Hate Them Enough. We'll cover some obvious historical documentation of the general public in America getting treated like the urine cake in the bowl, I guess. We'll talk about some obvious ones. I got two already in the video queue there, but I got a whole lot more. You could just run down the blipping list, Operation Midnight Climax. They're freaking, they're getting hookers to slip John's LSD experiment, LSD doses just to see what happens. I mean, there's that. Good grief. There's the Tuskegee experiments, because, nothing says love like giving black dudes syphilis for 50 some odd years. I mean, that's real pretty awesome, I guess, if you're into killing everybody and just a sick piece of garbage like clearly the oligarchs and the duopoly overlords in power would have you believe. But don't worry, because, in a couple years, everybody will get to vote again and everybody will feel better about themselves. Whoo, I did the right thing. I voted for my team. Woo, I voted for my team too. Woo. So at the end of the day, folks, that's really what it's all about. It's all weapons of mass distraction. It's all about divide and conquer. It's all about you versus them versus you. sort of debasing the humanity of the opposite team, so to speak. So debasing the humanity of the left to the right and vice versa. So the right has to believe that the left is just morally debased, human garbage, and then in contrast, the left's got to think the same of the right and the right of the left. That's how it works, folks. It's clear, just old school propaganda 101. Once again, this is Edward Bernays stuff. This is everything you ever saw in a propaganda poster from World War I, every propaganda poster you saw in World War II. I mean, it's just, that's what it is now, except now it's not over there. It's here. It's the key. I see. Anyway, we're going to close things up right here. I am surprised, shocked, and otherwise amazed that I actually had the voice to get through this. Going back to sleep, watching some In the Heat of the Night. All right, folks, I'll see you on Thursday, God willing. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Get out there, do your part, make a difference. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the Anomic Age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.